everybody, and today we're going to be taking a look at trilobites alive. This is a strange concept because, as most of you should know, trilobites went extinct a pretty long time ago. One thing about trilobites that is pretty surprising is they died out quite easily. I find this kind of surprising because they were one of the most successful arthropods on ancient Earth, and I feel like they should not have gone extinct. But they did due to the Permian extinction event, where all the climates changed very fast, and a lot of animals died because they didn't have enough time to adapt. For example, if you like cold weather and you went to a hot place, it would be pretty bad. But for a trilobite, a pretty fragile animal, not in combating, but in evolution, this is a problem for him, a really big problem. So let's take a look at some things that might be trilobites alive or other things. So here we have some pictures of horseshoe crabs. This is some trilobite similarities from horseshoe crabs to trilobite, or some similarities from horseshoe crabs to trilobites. Horseshoe crabs have a hard carapace, which trilobites also had, which they would molt from, same horseshoe crabs here, and they would leave there. Same with horseshoe crabs here. They also molted and would leave their carapace behind. Another thing is that horseshoe crabs have multiple legs. They got a lot of legs, just like trilobites. They also have the same anatomical system of legs, where they have their gills right below their legs. So that's pretty cool that this thing is very similar to a trilobite. Another thing is that this little guy is segmented. As you can see, on the left side we have one segment, and on the right side we have another segment. The left segment can go up and down, and the right segment can go up and down. Here are where trilobites live. Or actually not trilobites, horseshoe crabs. Horseshoe crabs live in Asia and in North America and Australia. So here the little red outlines are where you could find horseshoe crabs. I keep getting confused. Where you can find horseshoe crabs. Most horseshoe crabs live around near Australia, but touch Asia. So on the edges of North America, you can also see some trilobites. They horseshoe crabs, but there's only one species of horseshoe crab that lives there, unless horseshoe crabs have been imported or are being imported for eating over to there. Let's take a look at horseshoe crab anatomy. So here you can see a horseshoe crab swimming just like a trilobite. If you didn't know, trilobites could move their segments, as I said earlier, up and down. What they would do is, as like a paddle, they would keep their head straight, but move their back up and down. So it would push the water so they could go forward. As you can see, this little picture here is pretty small, so let's get a little zoom in. So this is the anatomy of a horseshoe crab. I found this very good picture to get this. So horseshoe crabs has compound eyes, similar to many insect eyes. This is a common occurrence in trilobite species and horseshoe crab species. Most horseshoe crab species all have compound eyes, mostly because this helps them see through camouflage, and it's just kind of a trait they've learned to have over the millions of years they've been alive. Another thing is the ventral eye cluster. This is a super simple light detector. This light detector helps them in dark situations, or if something's going on under them, which their compound eyes can't see. There's also another light detector, the median ocellus or ocellus. I'm not sure. Ocellus, I'm going to call it ocellus. Ocellus is another word for simple eyes. These simple eyes right here, light sensing eyes, may be used during low light conditions as another use for light-sensing eyes, just like the ventral eye cluster. Here are some book gills. If you're wondering where I'm at, it's right above the telson. The book gills were used for respiration. I'm just going to say respiration. And that means breathing in a fancy way. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. The telson was like this big pointy stick that horseshoe crabs would have at the back. Thing is, it doesn't sting. It's just used to put them upright if they're toppled over. Because unlike us, they can't just use one arm and push themselves. They would need a telson. One thing is horseshoe crabs had a carapace, like I talked about earlier, so provides protection and support. Pretty simple carapace. You also have medium larval eyes under carapace as an adult, but during their early stages, they will have it on the top of their head. Here, so we finished that anatomy part. Oh, we missed one thing. The mouth. To eat the nom. Well, I guess that means to eat food. So anyways, here. Actually, if you didn't know, horseshoe crabs aren't crabs. Crabs have 2 eyes and 1 clawed pair of legs. Horseshoe crabs have 10 eyes and 5 clawed pairs of legs. Not a crab. Despite their name, horseshoe crabs are more closely related to spiders. Now, for trilobites, it's actually spiders and scorpions and arthropods. It's quite different, but horseshoe crabs, because of how recent they are, scientists can take them in alive and check their biological systems and see who they're closely related to from DNA. Horseshoe crabs, are most closely related to spiders. Horseshoe crabs' unique number of eyes, 10 plus photoreceptors, and limbs reflect its differences from other crustaceans. So, horseshoe crabs are still crustaceans, which means they're similar to a crab, only because of the carapace mostly. One thing about the horseshoe crab is the telson's very special, because if you've ever seen a picture of a trilobite, they do not have the telson. Many uses of the telson: detects surrounding light with photoreceptors. Digging tool flips itself right side up, like I talked about earlier. Receives XM radio signals. It does not do that. The horseshoe crab is not a radio. Okay, blue blood saves lives. Horseshoe crab's blue blood will clot when it detects toxin-producing bacteria. Today, it is used to prevent bacterial contaminations in surgical tools, pacemakers and medicines. So actually, this is one of the many reasons that horseshoe crabs are endangered right now. You might be thinking, oh God, this is going to be a repeat of the trilobites. Well, one thing about the trilobites is they didn't have humans that were intelligent and know how to save animals. The only problem with us is that you always say, okay, we're going to save them, but you don't. So if you want to make a difference, go check some different ways to save the horseshoe crab, our last living relative of the trilobite. Anyways, so the blood clots in the presence of bacteria. After removing negative 30% of the blood, or 30% of the blood, the crabs are released back into the ocean. Okay, so they actually don't die from this process. I'm surprised. I thought they died. I didn't know that. So anyways, as I was saying, source. You can check out the sources at the bottom. Oh, here. Horseshoe crab's blood helps prevent infections in vital instruments. Yeah, they told us that earlier. Anyways, let's move on from this. Oh, by the way, if you want to support these people that made this little horseshoe crab comic and stuff, go to www.squidtunes.com. Part 2. Bring back the real trilobite? Okay, so a full trilobite? You might be thinking, what do you mean a full trilobite? Every time I've ever seen a trilobite fossil in a museum, on a website, or if I'm in the public and I see one for sale, they're always full fossils. Now, no, they're not always full fossils. If you didn't know, trilobites actually, because they shed a molt, most trilobite fossils are only their shedding. They're not full trilobites. And even if they didn't shed and were like just healthy adult trilobites and they still died, that also wouldn't be a full trilobite because now you're missing their insides. The thing is if a trilobite has its organs still there, then it'll be a full trilobite. Now you must be like, how we get a full trilobite? They're all fossilized. Well, as you can see in the bottom right and bottom left, these ones are stuck in amber, which means they still have their organs inside them. As you can see here, this is a triarthris trilobite, which is a certain genus of trilobite with soft body preservation. So this one actually isn't an amber. It's in like a stone substance. Looks like a sand that's been compressed. But this one still has soft body preservation. What I'm thinking, and a lot of other people think, is that if scientists, by the way, this is a scientist making stem cells. If they copy stem cells and animal cells, they might be able to copy trilobite cells. And I think that's the only way we could possibly bring trilobites back and maybe put them in our oceans, or the sad option, we would farm them if they tasted like lobster and make them for cheap. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. This is a good introduction to trilobites maybe coming back someday and horseshoe crabs. If you like this video, then you should probably like and subscribe, as it says in the left. If you didn't like this video, give me a dislike and tell me in the comments what you didn't like about my video so I know to improve it next time. Anyways, have a great day, and just remember, if you ever need to know more about trilobites, local libraries, newspapers, and articles online could help you. And if you're thinking of making something like this, do it. Nobody's stopping you. Anyways, have a great day, and bye.